I know that not every older person that pursues a younger person is a bad person, but I just always am a little bit weary because it's like you're 27, you've been an adult for almost 10 years. This person's been an adult for 3 years and they just began to legally drink. You've been legally drinking for 6 years. Like you've been living your life as an adult. Let's say they went to college. Like if college is in their life paths, he's been out of it for 5 years and she's still in it. She barely graduated high school. Like you graduate high school when you're 18. He graduated high school 9 years ago. She graduated high school 3 years ago. So it's like, why are you going for someone? And if it was 37 and 31, I would find it not weird at all.
I was going to say, I think it depends on where the age gap is happening.
I agree.
Because in your 20s, I'm sorry, it's weird.
I agree.
It's just weird.
I find it so odd.
But in your 30s, I don't think it's weird.
Yeah.
But if you're, okay, what if you're like I'm trying to think, 34 minus 6 is 28.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
28 and 36?
No, 34.
I don't think so.
Because there's a 6-year age gap.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I'm trying to like...
Right, got it. 28 and 34, I would think nothing
Wait, yeah,
weird.
because on Hinge, I'm pretty sure mine's set to like, I don't know, 39.
No, I don't think it's weird once you get... I really also feel like it's about life stages, because if you're 28 and you're living your career and you're living on your own, or what, I guess you don't have to be living on your own, but I think a 28-year-old and a 34-year-old, even a 36-year-old, even a 38-year-old, 28 to 38, those two people are more likely to be in the same life stage, in my opinion, than a 27-year-old and a 21-year-old.
I also think, like, in a way, and in this situation, it's a guy and a girl, so I'm just going to keep that example. It's often the guy, like, needing a girl who's less... or who's more willing to be controlled, or
oh my God,
more
that's
like
so sad but true.
Amiable, is that the word?
Kinda.
Like, because at 21, like, you just don't know who you are, and
no.
You're a little bit more easily manipulated versus so I think a lot of times that's why guys that age like go for the younger girl, because it's like, well, she's not gonna fight back, she's not gonna like try to control me or try to tell me what to do, like I can mold her.
And that's why whenever age gaps come up and it's a very young girl, which I consider 21 to be very young, and an older guy, that's why I'm like a little weird. I know that's not the point of this story, but I am just always like, to me, like a 21-year-old is basically a child.
Like, what do you talk about?
I know, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
And I think like even like 24, I would be like, okay, you're probably like an adult, or because when do you graduate college?
22. Oh my God, I was so, you guys,
I know,
I'm thinking about, and I'm maybe a bad example because I do feel like I matured slowly.
You matured slowly, yeah.
Like, I think 22-year-old me was more like a normal, like, 19-year-old, probably.
Well, like, compared to what, though?
I'm not even being mean. Like, I just feel like for context, I'm the youngest of 4, and my older siblings are, like, a lot older than me, so I was just babied a lot longer than most people, I think. Okay. Which I think caused me to, like, grow up slower, because everything was just done for me for so many years, and no shade, like, I have a great life, but it's just, like, you know, I was slow to some things. Okay. So I'm just saying, like, maybe some other 22-year-old is, like, more like a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
So...
And obviously, like, everyone matures at their own rate. Like, there are some 21-year-old, like, it's possible that this girl, through her life experience and just, like, who she is and how she's wired, she might be more mature than this 27-year-old guy. But I just feel like is a very, very mature 27-year-old guy seeking out a 21-year-old girl.
Like a typical,
like a very, very secure,
right,
like,
but that's part of it too. I think oftentimes they're like, these older men go for like the insecure girls, and the insecure girls are often a little younger.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
you guys,
so if I was 21 and a 27-year-old guy was pursuing me, I would be scared. I would literally be like, what is wrong with you that you are pursuing me, a child?
But like, would you have hooked up with the 27-year-old?
I would be scared.
Because I think I'm sure on Tinder, a lot of like college girls are hooking up with older guys.
Okay, it depends on what they look like.
Yeah.
If they looked like, because some people just look younger and some people are just like nerdier. But if it was like a guy who was like 6'5" and like very muscular and like just very large and had like a loud, deep voice, I'd be like, I'm scared of you and go away. But if it was like someone who was my height and they were like skinny and a little bit nerdy and I feel like I could take them, you know, physically, maybe I would entertain it.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if I was 21, and I'm not trying to hate on this girl because I don't know her circumstances, and I'm not trying to victim blame at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for myself.
Yeah, same.
And also, she was weary at first. Like, I'm not, like, she kind of did this. She had these thoughts too. These, like, why are you pursuing me kind of thoughts.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I was 21 and a 27-year-old guy was pursuing me, I would actually be like, what is wrong with you? Like, go date someone who is your own age. Like, why would you want to date a basically child when you could date someone who is way more mature and further along in their life than I am? And that gives me red flags. Like, I totally agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I think there's something like underlying when this happens a lot of the time, not every time.
I think a lot of men are like this though. A lot of guys don't date girls their own age.
I do also think though that is a little bit because of the maturity thing. Like, just scientifically, females mature faster than males.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that because like a 27-year-old guy might be the maturity level of like a 24, 25-year-old girl. So I get that. But that's still a big age gap for someone that's that young.
Yes.
In my opinion. And I just don't love the idea of it.
I
feel like I'm not trying to judge. I'm trying to look out for girls that are younger. And I'm not trying to like judge guys. But if it was my sister, like if I had a 21-year-old sister and she was telling me that a 27-year-old guy was pursuing her, I'd be like, well, we're going to learn this guy's life story. I'm going to go on all your dates with you. Like, I would be so protective of her. So that's the reason why. I feel like sometimes we get on the podcast and we're like, this is fucking weird. Like, what are you doing? But it's not out of a judgmental, like us judging this girl or like trying to judge the guy. It's just that I've seen so many situations where older people take advantage of younger people, and I want to like look out for the people that are younger.
Because they're too young to know, and it's not discrediting their intelligence at all. It's a biology thing. Like, you just haven't developed yet.
No, I know.
And men will take advantage of you.
Yes. It's like even weird thinking about what I thought about between the time, like when I was in college, you're like 18 to 22 if you go to college right out of high school. So I was 18 to 22. And it's like the thoughts that I had in college when I thought I was mature, looking back on that, I'm like, oh, you didn't know shit. You literally didn't know shit. And then when I was out of college, I'm like, I'm going to do all these, like the 2 or 3 years right out of college. I'm like, all of this is like life. This is real. And then I was like, oh, you didn't know shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I have thoughts now that in a few years I'm going to be like, oh, you didn't know shit. But yeah, I agree. So it's
life. If
somebody who was 27 was talking to me when I was 21 and they were like, girl, like, be wary of that. Like, you have to be careful. You have a lot of learning to do. I would be like, you don't understand. Like, I'm mature for my age. Like, I can handle it, blah, blah, blah. And now look at me. If I could tell my own self, like, I just know that my own self, I wouldn't have believed an older woman. I wouldn't have believed a 28-year-old girl saying,
correct,
oh, watch out for this kind of guy, or like, keep these things in mind, or don't put up with X, Y, and Z because that guy sucks and it's not worth your time. Like, I wouldn't have believed it. I would have been like, oh, but this is different. Like, you don't understand. Like, that's how it is for other people, but this is how it is for me. And looking back, I'm like, oh no, you were the same as everybody else. Like, people aren't that unique.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not saying that to be a bad thing, but I feel like sometimes people like gaslight themselves because they're like, oh, well, that stereotypical thing, that's true for everybody else, but I'm special. And in the nicest way possible, you're not special.
Yeah.
So take the lesson from the older person. Not that I'm saying that everything I'm saying is correct. I'm just saying I would have benefited from taking advice from older people, but I just, looking back, I'm like, I know I probably wouldn't have.
Facts. Because I do think you can make somewhat generalized statements when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
Because of everything you just said. Like, people are not as unique and special as they think they are.
Yeah. But like, that helps you.
In a nice way, yeah.
That like actually helps you.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to like navigate something on your own that like no one's ever never been through, or like they don't understand. They do understand.
Yeah.
Most people probably understand.
Yeah.
Because most people probably went through it. Even this guy that I was talking to, like even just a couple years ago, I remember I was like, oh, but he's so nice. Like and then I would see all these TikToks that were like, if he does X, Y, and Z, girl, like he's just another guy. Like he's not right for you. And in my mind, I'd be like, oh, but like he's not like that. Like he's great. He's actually really nice. Like, and then looking back, it took me just a few months extra to be like, oh wait, no, he literally is every other guy.
He's exactly
he
like
is
that.
Every other fuckboy that lies to you and does whatever the fuck they want. So like I was not that special. Like that story was not unique, even though I was trying to convince myself and everyone around me that it was unique.
Yeah, because when you're in it, you can't get out of it.
Oh yeah,
mentally.
Yeah,
you're gonna make every excuse to like justify everything they're doing.
Oh, 100%.
But then, like you said, it's like time goes by and you're like, wait, they actually are exactly like that.
Yeah.
Stereotypical, like.
Yeah. So actually, I feel like I finally learned my lesson now, though. And I'm like, if a guy were to treat me like that, I feel like now, after like, you know, have you ever seen those TikToks that are like, oh, it's my husband? And then it's like, ugh, another lesson.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And then or girls will be like crying and they're like, I don't want another lesson. I want a husband. But I'm like, wait, no. Now I feel like I could use the lessons and be like, okay, well, never going to fall for that one again. I hope. I probably will.
Probably will too.